In the grand theatre of life, what truly defines us is not our intentions or aspirations, but our actions. It's easy to speak of goals, dreams, and desires, yet difficult to bridge the gap between thought and deed. This struggle is universal, and even the ancient Stoics, masters of self-discipline and virtue, grappled with it. So, how do we take action when motivation fades, when fear arises, or when laziness tempts us to remain idle? Imagine for a moment that each step you take toward your goals is like planting a seed in a vast garden. Will you tend to these seeds with the consistency needed to see them flourish? Or will you allow the weeds of procrastination and self-doubt to overshadow them? Today, we'll dive into 7 powerful Stoic lessons designed to ignite your inner drive and help you cultivate a life of purposeful action. These aren't mere productivity hacks. They are timeless principles, deeply rooted in Stoicism, that will equip you to face life's challenges with resilience and clarity. Each lesson builds upon the last, guiding you through a journey of self-discipline, purposeful habits, and a mindset primed for growth. Stay with us until the end, for the final lesson offers a profound insight into a life of simplicity, a reminder that true fulfillment often lies in removing, not adding, elements to our lives. Let's begin. 1. Begin with small steps. The journey begins with a single step. Every journey, however grand or ambitious, starts with a single, often small step. The ancient Stoics understood that the path to greatness does not demand grand gestures or dramatic changes. Instead, it asks only for humble, steady progress. Are we not often paralyzed by the enormity of our goals, held back by a fear of failure, or overwhelmed by the sheer scale of what lies ahead? Consider the story of Zeno of Citium, founder of Stoicism, who began his philosophical journey by stepping into a bookstore and being captivated by the words of Socrates. This single, seemingly insignificant action set him on a path that would shape Stoicism and influence countless lives. His story reminds us that greatness often begins with a simple step forward, without a clear map or guarantee of success. Why we hesitate to begin? Why then do we so often hesitate to take that first step? In moments of hesitation, we may find ourselves asking, what if I fail? What if this small action is meaningless? But the Stoic perspective reminds us that each step, however small, builds upon the last, creating momentum. Our first step is an affirmation that we are willing to grow, willing to try, and willing to persist. This resistance to begin can be tied to our desire to control outcomes, to have certainty. Yet, as Stoicism teaches us, we are not in control of the future, only of our actions in the present moment. How often do we allow fear of the unknown to prevent us from moving forward? Remember, the Stoics counsel that progress is gradual, not immediate. It is a process, not a destination. Small steps lead to lasting change. When we focus on taking small, consistent steps, we embody the Stoic virtue of temperance, which values moderation and measured action. Small steps are manageable, they are within our control, and help us avoid feeling overwhelmed. In Stoicism, the emphasis is not on reaching the end goal as quickly as possible, but on building a strong foundation through steady, deliberate actions. How might you start incorporating this lesson into your life? Perhaps you have a goal that seems daunting, a career change, a new skill, a commitment to self-improvement. Begin by identifying the smallest possible action you could take right now. It could be reading a single article, setting aside 5 minutes to reflect, or drafting a plan. With each small step, your confidence will grow, your resolve will strengthen, and your fear will diminish. Overcoming the paralysis of perfection. Perfectionism is another barrier to starting small. Many of us wait until conditions are perfect, or until we feel entirely ready. But the Stoics would tell us that waiting for perfection is folly. Conditions will never be perfect, and waiting for the right moment may mean waiting forever. Start now with what you have and refine your approach as you go. In the words of Epictetus, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Each small step is a triumph over inaction, a reminder that you are capable of movement. As you proceed, remember that every action, no matter how minor, contributes to the person you are becoming. So, what small step can you take today that brings you closer to your goals? With this foundation laid, let us now confront one of the greatest obstacles to action, the pull of procrastination and laziness. 2. Overcome procrastination and laziness. The enemy within. Confronting procrastination. If you have ever put off a task, knowing full well it would benefit you to complete it, you are not alone. Procrastination and laziness are two of the most formidable obstacles we face in our pursuit of action. The Stoics recognized this tendency as a compromise with ease, a subtle enemy that robs us not only of time, but of our very potential. Why do we so often allow these tendencies to rule over us? The allure of comfort, the safety of routine, the ease of deferring effort until tomorrow, these are powerful forces. But the Stoic approach is to recognize the value of the present moment, to see that each moment wasted is a moment we surrender to inaction. Marcus Aurelius famously urged, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." His words are a reminder that time, once spent, cannot be reclaimed. How much time have you already allowed procrastination to steal from you? Choosing the harder right over the easier wrong. The Stoics invite us to see each day as an opportunity to choose the harder right over the easier wrong. Taking action, especially on tasks that challenge us, requires us to embrace discomfort. But by consistently making choices that serve our higher purpose, we gradually weaken the grip of procrastination. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus advises that we are the masters of our own actions, stating, "You are not your body and hairstyle, but your capacity for choosing well. If your choices are beautiful, so too will you be." Recognizing procrastination and laziness as choices rather than fixed traits is liberating. Every moment offers a choice, to stay idle or to advance toward our goals. This choice becomes clearer when we realize that the path of ease is often the path of stagnation. Laziness is a form of retreat, a way of indulging in temporary comfort at the cost of long-term growth. The Stoic challenge is to reject this retreat and confront our tasks with the clarity and conviction that each action is an investment in our character. Guarding our most precious resource, time. Time is, without question, the most valuable resource we possess. Seneca wrote extensively on the fleeting nature of time, observing that while people are careful to guard their wealth, they are often careless with their time, allowing it to slip away unnoticed. He remarked, "It is not that we have a short space of time, but that we waste much of it." Imagine if we treated time with the same value we give to gold or property, how much more purposeful would our days be? One practical approach inspired by Stoicism is to structure each day with intention, recognizing moments of distraction as they arise and redirecting our focus to what truly matters. We can set aside specific times for tasks, establishing a routine that fosters discipline and keeps procrastination at bay. Creating order in our lives reduces the space for distractions and excuses, cultivating an environment that encourages action. The power of mindful action. A core tenet of Stoicism is mindfulness, the awareness of one's thoughts and actions. By applying this principle, we can more easily identify when we're slipping into procrastination and laziness. Mindfulness helps us catch ourselves in moments of weakness and reminds us of our higher purpose. Ask yourself, am I choosing inaction because it's easier or because it's aligned with my values? This simple question can provide the motivation to break free from procrastination's grip. Moreover, By practicing mindful action, we can begin to appreciate even the simplest tasks as steps toward a life of virtue. Stoicism teaches that every action, when done with purpose, has value. Epictetus advised his students to see every task as an opportunity to cultivate discipline, no matter how minor. In doing so, we transform our approach to action from one of obligation to one of dedication. Redefining success, a life of purposeful action. The Stoics did not equate success with external achievements or accolades. They measured it by the alignment of one's actions with one's values. When we approach tasks with a Stoic mindset, we cultivate resilience and a sense of purpose that strengthens our resolve. Overcoming procrastination and laziness, then, is not simply about doing more. It is about choosing actions that reflect our dedication to living fully and honorably. What if, instead of viewing action as a series of tasks to complete, we saw each act as a reflection of our highest self? How would that shift our willingness to take on what lies before us? Imagine the growth, the sense of accomplishment, and the inner peace that would come from a life free from the distractions of procrastination. Having recognized the power of purposeful action, we now turn to the heart of Stoic discipline, cultivating habits that embody our deepest commitments. 3. Cultivate self-discipline, the foundation of freedom, self-discipline in the Stoic path. Self-discipline, in the eyes of the Stoics, is the foundation upon which a life of purpose is built. For Marcus Aurelius, the freedom to live well came not from external conditions, but from one's inner capacity to exercise control over thoughts and actions. Self-discipline is more than a tool for productivity. It is a profound act of self-respect and a gateway to genuine freedom. How often do we let our impulses and desires dictate our actions? And how much stronger could we be if we cultivated mastery over them? The Stoics remind us that true freedom arises not from doing whatever we please, but from choosing our actions with purpose and restraint. To live with self-discipline is to recognize that we can influence our thoughts, behaviors, and responses to life's challenges. When we commit to controlling our emotions, curbing our desires, and aligning our actions with virtue, we step into a realm of strength and autonomy. The daily practice of discipline. Building self-discipline is not a one-time event, but a daily practice. Each morning presents an opportunity to set an intention aligned with your values. As Epictetus advised, we should begin our day by affirming our beliefs and defining our goals. By establishing small, manageable practices that test our willpower, such as dedicating time to reflection, practicing gratitude, or challenging ourselves with minor discomforts, we weave a fabric of discipline that strengthens our character over time. But how do we maintain this discipline amid inevitable setbacks and moments of weakness? The Stoic philosopher Seneca spoke of resilience as a natural part of the journey. He reminded us that when faced with difficulties, we are polished and stronger. Failures and setbacks do not break our commitment to discipline. Instead, they refine it. With each challenge, we have a chance to stand firm, to rise above, and to recommit to our principles. Aligning action with greater values. Self-discipline goes beyond mere restraint. It is the conscious choice to align each action with one's deeper values. This alignment provides clarity and direction, ensuring that our actions serve a higher purpose. In moments of decision, ask yourself, does this action bring me closer to the person I wish to become? Is it aligned with the virtues of Stoicism, wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation? By keeping our values at the forefront, we create a standard against which we can measure our actions. This alignment simplifies decision-making, reducing the internal friction of indecision and helping us move forward with conviction. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on how self-discipline allowed him to stay true to his principles, guiding him through life's challenges with a steady hand. Transforming desires and urges into allies. In our journey toward self-discipline, our desires, impulses, and fears are not enemies to be suppressed, but forces to be understood and transformed. The Stoics recognized that these urges, when channeled constructively, could become powerful allies. By choosing to act in alignment with our greater values, we learn to direct our desires rather than be directed by them. What would it look like to take control of your urges rather than being controlled by them? Imagine the clarity and strength that would come from focusing your energy only on what serves your growth and well-being. Epictetus taught that repeated intentional action builds character. As we practice restraint, we train ourselves to respond to life's distractions with calm focus, empowering ourselves to make choices that uplift rather than hinder us. The quiet resolve of self-discipline. In embracing self-discipline, we find a quiet strength that doesn't seek external validation but relies on inner integrity. This practice is a commitment to honor our deepest values and live authentically. The Stoic path is not free of challenges, yet every disciplined act we perform, every impulse we restrain, builds resilience. By committing to self-discipline, we honor our potential and take meaningful steps toward our highest self. Let us ask ourselves, in what areas can I cultivate greater self-discipline? Where can I create boundaries that protect my focus and purpose? How can I align my daily actions with the virtues I hold dear? In each of these questions lies an opportunity to grow stronger, to live more fully, and to walk more confidently on the Stoic path. Having fortified ourselves with self-discipline, we now face the tests and trials of life not as obstacles, but as opportunities to grow. Let us see how the Stoics teach us to transform challenges into stepping stones. 4. Turn challenges into opportunities. Embracing adversity. Challenges as catalysts for growth. The Stoic perspective on adversity is both profound and empowering. Challenges are not obstacles to be avoided, but opportunities for growth. Life will inevitably present difficulties, yet the Stoics invite us to see these moments as stepping stones on the path to wisdom and resilience. Epictetus, born into slavery and hardship, transformed his circumstances into sources of profound insight, teaching us that our response to challenges defines our character. When faced with obstacles, do you see them as barriers or as opportunities? Stoicism teaches that our greatest growth often comes from the moments of greatest difficulty. Instead of running from adversity, the Stoic way is to welcome it, to see each challenge as a chance to refine our character, strengthen our resolve, and deepen our understanding. Choosing how to respond. In the Stoic view, we cannot always control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When confronted with a challenge, our perception of it shapes our experience. By approaching difficulties with curiosity and a willingness to learn, we transform them from sources of suffering into lessons in resilience and wisdom. Ask yourself, what can this challenge teach me? How can I use this experience to become stronger, wiser, more patient? With this shift in perspective, we embrace adversity as an ally rather than an enemy. Each setback, each hardship, becomes a stepping stone on the path to becoming a more resilient, more compassionate version of ourselves. The strength found in struggle. The Stoic philosopher Seneca observed that difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Through trials, we develop patience, courage, and self-mastery. When we are tested, we have the chance to rise to the occasion, to exercise the virtues we have cultivated, and to fortify ourselves against future challenges. The Stoic path is not about avoiding hardship, but about using it as a means to build inner strength and resilience. Think of adversity as the refining fire of character. Just as metal is forged through intense heat, so too are our minds and spirits shaped through trials. By confronting difficulties head-on, we gain the clarity and confidence that come only from experience. This process polishes our character, transforming us into individuals capable of facing life's uncertainties with grace and courage, applying Stoic principles in adversity. How then can we apply Stoic principles to our own lives in moments of difficulty? First, take a step back and acknowledge the situation for what it is. Identify what is within your control and what is not. Focus your energy on what you can change: your thoughts, your actions, and your perspective. When challenges arise, reflect on the Stoic virtues: wisdom to assess the situation with clarity, courage to face discomfort, justice to act with integrity, and temperance to remain balanced. By leaning into these virtues, we find guidance and support in navigating life's trials. Inspiring others through resilience. The Stoic approach to adversity is not only transformative for the individual, but also a source of inspiration for others. When we choose to face challenges with resilience, we show those around us that adversity need not lead to despair. Instead, it can be an opportunity for growth, for self-discovery, and for meaningful action. The strength we develop in facing hardship radiates outward, offering others a model of courage and perseverance. So the next time you encounter a challenge, remember that it is an invitation to grow. Embrace it as an opportunity to deepen your character, to develop inner strength, and to inspire others through your resilience. Now that we understand the value of adversity, we move on to the next key Stoic lesson: discovering a purpose rooted in virtue. 5. Develop a purpose rooted in virtue. The power of purpose aligned with virtue. In Stoicism, true purpose is not derived from external achievements or recognition, but from living a life aligned with virtue. The Stoics believed that a meaningful life is one that honors values such as wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. When our purpose is rooted in these timeless virtues, we find a source of motivation that is steady and resilient, unaffected by the highs and lows of fortune. Are your actions today aligned with your deepest values? How might your life change if each step you took reflected a dedication to virtue? The Stoic statesman Cato the Younger exemplified this commitment to purpose through virtue. In a time of political corruption, he stood firm in his principles, prioritizing justice and integrity over personal gain or comfort. His life serves as a reminder that purpose, when rooted in virtue, can become an unshakable guide, enabling us to act with clarity even in the face of adversity. Clarifying your values. To live with purpose, we must first clarify our values. What are the virtues that matter most to you? For the Stoics, wisdom meant seeking truth and understanding. Courage meant acting despite fear. Justice meant fairness and respect for others. And temperance meant self-control and balance. These virtues form a foundation upon which we can build a life of purpose, guiding our choices and actions with clarity. When we take the time to define our core values, we create a compass that helps us navigate life's complexities. Reflecting on these values, ask yourself, do my actions align with the virtues I hold dear? Am I living in a way that honors my deeper purpose? A purpose beyond external success. The Stoics viewed purpose not as a means to external success, but as a path to inner fulfillment. Living in alignment with virtue brings a sense of peace and satisfaction that is immune to external circumstances. When we measure our success by our dedication to our values rather than by external outcomes, we cultivate resilience, for our sense of worth is no longer tied to things beyond our control. Consider this. How would it feel to live a life where your sense of purpose is steady, regardless of external achievements or setbacks? Imagine the strength and confidence that would come from knowing that each day you are taking steps in harmony with your deepest principles This internal alignment brings clarity, allowing us to act with conviction and remain grounded in our purpose. Building purpose through daily actions. Purpose is not something we find in a single moment of revelation. It is something we build through consistent daily actions. Each choice we make, each small act of kindness, each moment of courage contributes to the mosaic of our purpose. Marcus Aurelius encouraged himself daily to embody the virtues he cherished, reminding himself that a purposeful life is built one action at a time. One way to cultivate this purpose is to set intentions each morning. Take a few moments to reflect on how you want to live out your values that day. Perhaps your goal is to practice patience, show kindness, or act with integrity. Each day offers opportunities to reinforce your commitment to virtue and to strengthen your sense of purpose. Inspiring others by living with purpose. A life rooted in virtue has the power to inspire others. When we live with purpose, our actions resonate beyond ourselves, encouraging others to examine their own values and motivations. This ripple effect is one of the greatest contributions we can make to the world around us. Imagine the impact of a life devoted to justice, kindness, and resilience. By embodying Stoic virtues, we show others that it is possible to live with purpose and integrity, even in a complex world. Let us ask ourselves, how can I live today in alignment with my values? What small actions can I take to reinforce my purpose and inspire those around me? In the pursuit of virtue, we find not only a sense of meaning, but also a wellspring of motivation to take purposeful action. With a clear sense of purpose rooted in virtue, we turn now to the art of simplifying our lives, a practice that brings clarity and focus to our journey. 6. Simplify your life. The clarity of simplicity, focusing on what truly matters. In our modern world, life can feel overwhelming, filled with constant distractions and endless demands on our time and attention. Yet, Stoicism teaches us that the path to peace and focus is found not in adding more to our lives, but in simplifying. Marcus Aurelius, despite his role as a Roman emperor, was a champion of simplicity. He believed that by removing the non-essential, we could focus our energy on what truly mattered, living a life rooted in virtue. Why do we allow ourselves to be drawn in so many directions? How often do we sacrifice our peace for the sake of acquiring more, doing more, or pleasing others? Stoicism reminds us that true satisfaction comes not from external possessions or achievements, but from an inner clarity and purpose. To live simply is to free ourselves from the weight of excess, to let go of the unnecessary, and to focus on what brings genuine fulfillment, creating physical and mental space. One of the first steps to simplifying life is to create order in our physical environment. When our space is cluttered, our minds often feel the same. By removing the non-essential, clothing we no longer wear, gadgets we no longer use, distractions we no longer need, we make room for clarity. The same applies to our mental space. By reducing mental clutter, whether in the form of digital distractions, endless obligations, or trivial concerns, we create space for focus and mindfulness. Ask yourself, what is truly essential in my life? What activities, objects, or habits could I let go of to make space for peace and purpose? This practice of decluttering goes beyond mere organization. It is about removing what doesn't serve our highest values and making room for what does. The power of prioritizing time and energy. In Stoicism, time is viewed as one of our most valuable resources. When we live simply, we guard our time and energy, reserving them for what aligns with our values and purpose. Instead of saying yes to every opportunity or distraction, we learn to say no to what pulls us away from a life of virtue. Marcus Aurelius advised, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This principle can be extended to our time. If it does not serve our purpose, we need not give it our attention. Consider the impact of prioritizing only what matters most. By focusing on quality over quantity in our commitments, relationships, and pursuits, we cultivate a life of depth and intentionality. This clarity of focus empowers us to take action with purpose, free from the burden of unnecessary distractions, digital minimalism, and financial simplicity. In our digital age, screens and notifications often pull us away from the present moment. Practicing digital minimalism, limiting screen time, curating social media use, and removing apps that do not serve us helps us reclaim control over our attention. Similarly, simplifying our finances by avoiding unnecessary debt, living within our means, and prioritizing experiences over possessions can free us from financial stress. Stoicism encourages us to focus on what we can control. By simplifying our digital and financial lives, we regain a sense of agency, directing our energy toward what we value most. Simplicity as a way to act with purpose. When we simplify, each action we take becomes more powerful because it is done with full attention and intention. In a simplified life, we are more likely to act in alignment with our values, to see each moment as an opportunity to live well. Marcus Aurelius believed that in simplicity, we find the clarity needed to focus on what truly matters and to live with purpose. By letting go of the excess, we discover a profound sense of peace and the strength to take meaningful action. How might your life change if you chose simplicity? What could you let go of to make room for focus and fulfillment? As we clear away the non-essential, we create space for a life that aligns with our highest values. Having embraced the clarity of simplicity, let us now turn to the final key to a life of stoic action, cultivating good habits that embody our deepest commitments. 7. Make good habits a habit. The power of consistent, purposeful habits. In the Garden of Stoicism, the seeds of virtue are nurtured by good habits. The Stoics taught that excellence is not achieved in a single grand act, but through the small, consistent actions we perform each day. Marcus Aurelius observed that what we do now echoes in eternity. In Stoic practice, good habits are not mere routines. They are reflections of our deepest commitments, guiding us toward a life of wisdom, courage, and self-discipline. How often do we overlook the impact of our daily actions, forgetting that each choice contributes to the character we build? The Stoics believed that by cultivating habits aligned with our values, we transform our lives, creating a foundation for growth and resilience. Choosing habits that reflect our virtues. What virtues do you hold most dear? For the Stoics, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance were the pillars of a good life. When we choose habits that reflect these virtues, such as practicing gratitude, learning something new, or acting with kindness, we reinforce our dedication to a purposeful life. Epictetus advised that our goal should not be perfection, but consistent progress, reminding us that each effort, no matter how small, is a step toward becoming our best selves. Start each day with a simple habit that reflects your values. Perhaps it's a moment of mindfulness, a journal entry reflecting on gratitude, or a small act of kindness. These actions, though modest, reinforce our commitment to growth and align our actions with our ideals. The strength found in small, consistent actions. Habits, when cultivated over time, become part of who we are. Each time we act in alignment with our virtues, we strengthen the foundation of our character. But habits need nurturing, and they thrive on consistency more than intensity. Epictetus taught that discipline is built through small, repeated actions, urging us to do good things over and over until they become second nature. In moments of struggle or self-doubt, remember that each positive action, however small, contributes to a life of purpose. By consistently choosing actions that reflect our values, we train our minds and hearts to act with integrity and resilience, tracking progress and embracing imperfection. Good habits take time to establish, and the Stoic journey is not one of instant results. By tracking our progress, whether through a journal or reflective practice, we gain insight into our growth and learn from our missteps. A habit tracker or weekly reflection can be powerful tools, helping us see how our actions align with our intentions and guiding us toward improvement. The Stoic path is one of progress, not perfection. When setbacks occur, embrace them as part of the journey. Instead of abandoning a habit after a lapse, consider it an opportunity to refine your approach. This mindset allows us to remain committed to growth, knowing that each effort shapes the life we aspire to lead. The lasting impact of good habits. Good habits, grounded in Stoic virtues, transform us from within. They help us cultivate resilience, focus, and a deep sense of purpose, guiding us to act in ways that honor our highest ideals. Each habit is a step toward the person we wish to become, a promise to ourselves that we are dedicated to growth, virtue, and a life of meaningful action. What small habit could you introduce today that reflects your values? How might your life change if you committed to practicing these habits consistently? In each small action, we find the seeds of greatness, and by nurturing them, we create a life rich with purpose and fulfillment. As we journey through these 7 Stoic lessons, we discover a path that calls us to live with intention, courage, and wisdom. Each lesson, from taking small steps and overcoming procrastination, to cultivating self-discipline, embracing challenges, aligning with virtue, simplifying life, and making good habits a part of who we are, equips us to act with purpose in the face of life's uncertainties. These teachings, rooted in the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, are not about mere productivity, but about cultivating a life of virtue, resilience, and inner peace. They remind us that every action, no matter how small, contributes to the person we are becoming. Now, I invite you to take these lessons to heart. Reflect on what resonates most with you, share your thoughts, and perhaps begin your own journey of Stoic action. Comment below with your reflections, like this video if you found it inspiring, and subscribe for more insights into Stoicism that can guide you toward a life of meaning and growth. May these teachings help you take purposeful action and lead you toward a life of courage, clarity, and profound fulfillment. Thank you for being part of this journey, and may the wisdom of Stoicism be a steady companion on your path to a life well lived.